Hello and welcome to the news update on AFRICUNIA television, reaching from the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Deborah Ezeh. We begin from Nigeria, where in a move that is certainly going to generate shockwave around the country and heighten the already tense political situation, it has come to light that the leadership of the All Progressives Congress is working towards zoning its presidential ticket to the northeast, with the Senate President Ahmed Lawan likely to emerge as its presidential candidate in 2023 elections. Many in the South who have been strident in calls for the presidential ticket to be zoned to the South after 8 years of Buhari in the saddle will not likely be amused by this evolving development. Also, with the latest decision of the party working committee to allow ad hoc delegates to elect presidential candidates at its forthcoming convention, the chances of a northern aspirant emerging as a presidential standard bearer are brightened even more. APC raked in the sum of 5.644 billion naira from the sale of farms to aspiring vying for state assembly seats. It was also gathered that out of 351 senatorial aspirants, the party has so far given a clean bill to 340. Now, the outcome of the screening for the remaining aspirants was still or is still being awaited. Still in Nigeria, the Christian Association of Nigeria says it will go ahead with its nationwide protest against the lynching of Deborah Yakubu, a 200-level student of Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, who was stoned to death and burned for allegedly blaspheming Prophet Muhammad. This is despite a ban on religious protests by Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, an appeal by Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule, and moves by some northern governors for CAN to shelve its planned protest. Also, CAN chapter in Plateau and Benue states, which are the umbrella bodies for churches in the two states, said they would organize protests against Deborah's killing. The spokesman for the CAN president, Reverend Bayo Oladeji, said the protest would hold on Sunday nationwide. Oladeji, however, said the protest would take place in front of CAN secretariats in various states or major churches, adding that there would be no procession. The Plateau state government said it would not allow any protest in the state in connection with Deborah. While condemning the manner the student lost her life as unjustifiable, it warned CAN in the state against joining such protests, as doing so would contravene an existing law in the state. And now in Algeria, 11 migrants are reportedly drowned after their boat sank off the Algerian coast of Tipaza. The International Center for the Identification of Missing Migrants, CIMPID, a Spanish NGO, said that a boat carrying 60 migrants had set sail from North Africa for Spain's Balearic Island. 11 illegal migrants who had set sail from Fauca died, and 5 young people, including 2 children, were rescued, the private television reported on its Facebook page. Photos of the victim have gone viral on social media, and according to Algerian social media users, the victim hailed from the town of Fauca. They were in the water for 14 hours before being picked up by an Egyptian ship, which handed them over to the Algerian authorities, according to the internet users. A report published by the Ministry of Defense, the Coast Guard's forward illegal immigration attempts and rescued 172 people on board homemade boats between 4 and 11th of May. Now, still on the African scene, President Joe Biden has offered or ordered the re-establishment of a U.S. troop presence in Somalia to help local authorities combat the Al Shabaab militant group. The move reverses an order from Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump, who in late 2020 pulled nearly all U.S. forces from the East African nation as he sought to wind down U.S. military engagement abroad during his final weeks in office. Biden, however, approved a request from the Defense Department to reposition U.S. forces in East Africa in order to re-establish a small precedent U.S. military presence in Somalia. Fewer than 500 troops will be involved, the official said, adding that it would take a little bit of time to reach the level in Somalia. The official also indicated the decision to reinsert forces had more to do with U.S. troop safety than with Sunday's election of a new Somalia president. Now, Somalia's support for U.S. cooperation in the fight against Islamist extremists has been a constant in recent years, and Washington remained confident of such support from the new administration in Mogadishu, the official said. We now head to the foreign scene. UN Chief Antonio Guterres is expected to publicly disclose on Wednesday that he is in talks with Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, the United States and the European Union aimed at restoring Ukraine grain shipments and reviving fertilizer exports from Russia and Belarus, UN officials said. The war in Ukraine has fueled soaring global prices for grain, cooking oil, fuel, and fertilizer, and Guterres has warned it will worsen food, energy, and economic crisis in poor countries. After visiting Moscow and Kyiv late last month, Guterres pledged to help bring back to the world markets the agricultural production of Ukraine and the food and fertilizer production of Russia and Belarus despite the war. Guterres is expected to discuss his efforts at a global food security call to action ministerial meeting hosted by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken at the United Nations in New York later on Wednesday. Blinken will also chair a Security Council meeting on conflict and food security on Thursday. Guterres assessed 36 countries count on Russia and Ukraine for more than half of their wheat imports, including some of the poorest and most vulnerable in the world, including Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Moving on, Iranian authorities seized a foreign ship attempt to smuggle fuel out of the country and detained its crew, State News Emergency Iran said on Wednesday. Iran, which has some of the world's cheapest fuel prices due to heavy subsidies and the plunge in value of its national currency, has been fighting rampant fuel smuggling by land to neighboring countries and by sea to Gulf Arab states. The ship, carrying more than 550,000 liters of smuggled fuel, was seized in Gulf waters and escorted to Abo in the southern province of Hormuzgan, where it was handed to judicial authority for investigation, the agency added. Now we look at the update on COVID-19 in China. Health authorities in Shanghai face huge pressure to keep China's most popular city free of COVID-19, as residents were counting down the days until June 1st and the end of their lockdown after almost 2 months of isolation. The commercial hub of 25 million achieved a fourth consecutive day without any new infections in the community, holding on to its prior zero COVID status and keeping alive hopes for an imminent end to lockdown misery. Despite no new cases, authorities are not lifting the lockdown immediately, instead gradually easing restrictions until June 1st, with some shops allowed to open this week and public transport expected to partly resume over the weekend. Residents at housing compounds across Shanghai have been given passes that allow one person from each household to go out for a few hours at a time. Some can go out only twice a week and only within a few streets of their home. Overall, Shanghai reported fewer than 1,000 new cases for May 17th, none from outside the quarantine area, and Benue reported 69 cases, up from 52. Still on the foreign scene, despite battling a wave of suspected COVID-19 infection, North Korea appears to be preparing to test an intercontinental ballistic missile ahead of U.S. President Joe Biden's first official trip to South Korea. The official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said that the latest intelligence showed North Korea could carry out an ICBM test as soon as Thursday or Friday. Biden is expected to arrive in South Korea on Friday and hold talks with South Korean counterparts over several days before visiting Japan. The White House said last week Biden was considering a trip to some zones on the border with North Korea. A weapon test could overshadow Biden's broader focus on China, trade, and other regional issues, and underscore the lack of progress in denuclearization talks, despite his administration's vow to break the stalemate with practical approaches. It could also complicate international efforts to offer Pyongyang aid as it battles its first confirmed COVID-19 outbreak. Now away from the foreign scene, now on the sports scene. A man has been arrested on suspicion of assault after Sheff Utd captain Billy Sharp appeared to be attacked when Nottingham Forest fans spilled onto the pitch at the end of the championship playoff semi-final win at the City Ground on Tuesday night. The Blades overturned a 2-goal deficit to level the tie at 3-3 on aggregate and forced extra time and penalties. But their spirited fight back was extinguished in the shootout when goalkeeper Bryce Samba saved 3 sports kicks to send Forest to Wembley. Forest jubilation at the prospect of ending their 23-year absence from the Premier League, providing they beat Huddersfield in the final on May 29th, spilled from the stand into a pitch invasion, which was overshadowed by an unprovoked attack on Blades striker Sharp. And finally, a much-changed Liverpool came from behind to beat Southampton 2-1 at St Mary on Tuesday night and ensured the Premier League title race goes right down to the final day. After the extension of beating Chelsea on penalties in the FA Cup final on Saturday, Liverpool made 9 changes for the trip to the South Coast and were without injured Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. Out of form, Southampton sensed an opportunity, and Nathan Redmond stunned the visitors with just 30 minutes on the clock. That goal will have sparked celebration among Manchester City supporters, with Pep Guardiola's side set to be crowned champions had Liverpool gone on to lose, but their response was very impressive. And that concludes the news updates on AFRICUNIA television. Do ensure to follow all our social media platforms showing on your screen to stay connected and updated to the news and other programs. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and also visit our website on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.